Welcome either to or back to my channel. Today I am trying out doing tapping and chatting content, but with my noise filter on. So, I had always heard that turning on my noise filter would actually be detrimental to ASMR quality, but I don't know. In my case, like, as you may have noticed if you've watched my previous videos, I have a pretty loud environment, so I figured I would try this. I thought that cork tapping would probably come through alright, and I figured my voice should still sound alright as well. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I guess today it's like the opposite of my last video. Do any of you guys like coffee? I had first gotten into making espresso, but my old espresso machine kind of pooped out, and instead of maintaining it, I just got a Chemex, and so I've been making pour-overs, which some people will say is just the same as like using a drip coffee machine, and to some extent that's true, but you get a little bit more control with the Chemex. You can do like more controlled. Well, I guess depending on how nice your drip coffee machine is, with the Chemex you can do more controlled temperature. And then I've often seen that a drip coffee machine will just like let it rip immediately, but on a Chemex, you can do the bloom where you put some hot water in the grounds first and then wait for 30 seconds. And then, at least to me, it feels like a little less ridiculous to like carefully dose your grinds and water and whatnot. Yeah. I'd had this thing for a few months now, and somehow I had not tried making cold brew in it until now. Today I like filled it with water, and then I put some coffee grinds in the filter and put it on the top, and well, as you do, I put it like, where the Chemex accepts the filter, and topped it off with some more water, and then I folded down the filter and put a plate on top. So we'll see how this works. I expect it'll work pretty well. I've once like did a makeshift reg like this using something I think far more jank. Well, actually, maybe it's similar. In a motel, they had um, cheap automated drip coffee maker, and I like kind of threw something together. Very similar setup, but just using the coffee pot. And that actually came out like, perfectly fine. I mean, I guess as expected. You just, put coffee grinds in the water and wait. And cold brew ends up generally tasting pretty good. Usually end up having like a poorly calibrated extraction. You just, get something that's usually not bitter and not sour. Concentrate them. Add some water. Speaking of pour extraction, so one of my favorite coffee-based drinks is a flat white, which is it's like a microfoam milk and ristretto. It's a strained espresso, which is you have the same dose, so 14 grams of coffee to a double shot. But unlike an espresso, it should be, well, at least in the style that I was trained, which is, I believe it to be an Italian standard, 21 seconds extraction. A ristretto will be about 15 seconds. You temp the grounds into a tighter puck, and then you let the extraction go for less time, and if you do it properly, the result will be something that is kind of like almost like naturally sweet. It focuses on only the beginning portion of the extraction, so you get much less like planty taste and whatnot. If done improperly, I think it can taste very, very bad. But if done properly, I think it tastes wonderful. And the milk in a flat white, ideally, should be like microfoamed, such that it's got like even less foam than a cafe latte. Very, very fine. And one time while I was applying to a cafe, they asked if I wanted a drink, and so I ordered a flat white. And I guess that's generally how I can tell, like, what I can expect from the cafe. Um, and what they handed me, I, while I was doing an interview with them, and well, they were interviewing me, um, I was, kind of out of the corner of my eye paying attention to the drink being made for me. And they let their extraction go for over 30 seconds. So, wow, that's, ooh, that's pretty over extracted. And they froth their milk very, very heavily. And what I ended up receiving was a extremely over extracted espresso in what amounted to a wet cappuccino. So I asked them, like, do you generally let your espresso extraction go that long? And especially with ristretto? And I said, yeah. And I said, oh. And the person giving me an interview gave me a funny look. And they made like an offhanded comment about like coffee snobs. And it's like, what are they talking about? And I later, that was my mom. And I was telling her about this. And my mom was like, yeah, you're a coffee snob. Which, I mean, perhaps it was a bit lacking in self-awareness of me, but I actually, until then, had never thought of myself as a coffee snob. I I always just thought, I'm a coffee enjoyer, which, I mean, I guess those are not mutually exclusive. I figured I couldn't be a coffee snob because I figured I was not good enough at making coffee. But at the same time, I also simultaneously consider the coffee that I make to be vastly superior to anything that I can get at any high-end cafe around me. So, I don't know. Perhaps I'm just severely lacking in self-awareness. I used to work at this one high-end cafe. Well, not super high-end, I guess, but overpriced, I could say. Um, and there I was known for making good coffee, but being mean. because I don't think I was being mean, but I guess in the customer service realm, I was considered to be mean because I wouldn't smile unless I was actually happy. I just gave people a very flat service. I would just ask them what they wanted, and then I would make the coffee. Um, but while I was there, I actually um, one time I saw this man interacting with the woman who I knew to be his wife, and he was being actually mean to her. He was making her like cry, and he came to me, and he was a regular, and he would order a quad shot cappuccino because he would rely on this on the caffeine content for his work, I presume. And I suppose this is something that I did that could be considered actually mean, but I was very unhappy with this man, the way he was treating his wife. I didn't know the details of it, but it seemed to be very one-sided because she wasn't saying anything, she was just crying, and he just kept going off on her. So I made him his coffee, but I gave him decaf. That'll be all for today. I hope you enjoyed my coffee rambles. Until next time.